Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode on No, but seriously, let me explain. Hosted by the beautiful, intelligent Earth Angel Lala Davi. This podcast was designed to provide detailed business advice, next level resources, personal credit tips, and relatable relationship knowledge. Be sure to bookmark this page and subscribe because we wouldn't want you to miss any valuable content. And if you're struggling with poor credit, don't even worry about it. Just text Help My Credit to 507-400-3426. That's 507-400-3426. We have live agents standing by to cater to all your service requests. And now that that's out the way, let's make room for what the host has to say. Lala Davi, do your thing, girl.
Welcome to No, but seriously. Let me explain. This phenomenal podcast series that will keep you fully engaged with all the tips and tricks that you need in order to be successful, while also providing you plenty of flavor. I am your lovely host, Lala Davi, and today we will discuss hypersexuality. Do you understand how to deal with excessive sexuality? No. But seriously, let me explain. Often when you start to browse Instagram, you're greeted with these amazing images, I must say, of individuals just flaunting their attractive physiques, highlighting certain features like these ample curves and these luxurious smooth legs. And oftentimes it's those well-defined chests and those toned abdomens and really strong, bulky arms that we all love. Yeah, those. You'll see those gym boys or gym girls hitting the gym, showing off their body as they're working it out. We all looking, right? Of course. Like frequently upon entering the realm of Instagram, one encounter of this persuasive trend of hypersexuality is often shown through images and videos, of course. Like these images, they predominantly feature these individuals that's proudly displaying their alluring bodies and their amazing voluptuous curves and succulent lips and impeccable sculpted legs and plump breasts and these impeccably flat stomachs. You know what I'm saying? Like this culture is in agreement with blunting and showing these assets off. Like they don't mind showcasing, those physical attributes in a highly sexualized manner, of course. And it has become increasingly, prominent in this platform. Like you tell me, whenever you go over to social media and you scroll through the pages, like what's the first thing you normally see whenever you scrolling through your feed? Like you're going to run into something that looks good. And because of that, it might just, take your attention away, be a distraction for a moment, take your attention away from whatever you're doing. You forget what the hell you was even about to do because now there's body in your face and you're just like, okay, focus again. And you have to quickly scroll off or something just to gain that focus back. And a lot of the times that is the same type of information that is heavily pushed. Like, I feel as though hypersexuality is also known as compulsive sexual behavior or nymphomania. It's known in women, of course, okay? And this just is a condition that's really characterized by an intense and persistent sexual urge. And some call it a fantasy or even behaviors, whatever. It's really just an individual who really exhibits hypersexual behaviors. Like they might engage in these excessive sexual activities, like having multiple partners and constantly seeking out sexual gratification. Like it's known. Like, we may not know who they are just looking at them. Like, they have professional jobs. They're working in corporate America, and they look pretty normal on the outside. However, it gets deeper than that. And when I say that, let me just go into a little story about this lady named Lisa. Okay? Let me tell you about Lisa. Don't laugh. Lisa, she had always been this really confident and just outgoing person. Like, she loved life and life loved her too. Like, she had so many different experiences and she really just enjoyed everything that life had to offer. She was a successful businesswoman who loved to travel. She had this loving family, of course, but lately we noticed like changes within Lisa. Like, she had something going on that she really couldn't shake off. And of course, it was this overwhelming desire that really consumed her. You know, it consumed her every waking moment. And it was really like an insatiable thirst that could never be quenched, so to speak. And Lisa, she really became hypersexual, over time. And in her mind, it was as if she was always, just fulfilling these sexual thoughts or sexual fantasies or cravings that she might have had. And she craved this physical intimacy at pretty much every turn. Like, wherever she went, she just craved for something different, something exciting, something always spontaneous. And that was pretty much what she would do on these business trips. Like, she didn't really understand what was happening to her, but she knew she couldn't control it. So one day, Lisa, she met this man, and she met this man at this conference. He was really charming. He was tall. He was intelligent. He had 6 figures, and he was just really captivating. He had this amazing personality, and that's what really drew her into him. Like, they spent the entire day talking and just laughing. And by the end of it, Lisa knew she wanted him. She was like, that's my man now. Like, that's for me, pretty much. And by that night, Lisa, she invited this man back to her hotel room, of course. Like, they started kissing, and before long, they were naked in the bed. Like, Lisa couldn't get enough of him. She wanted to touch her. She wanted him to kiss her, and she just wanted to feel alive again. And that's exactly how he made her feel. They had sex for hours, and Lisa felt like she was on top of the world. The next day, Lisa, she woke up feeling ashamed of herself. Okay, she couldn't believe what she had done. She had always been in control of her life, but somehow now it seemed like, her desires were all controlling her. She didn't want to be this hypersexual person anymore. Like, she just really started feeling a way about herself, and she really couldn't stop herself. As the days went by, Lisa, she really continued to just seek out sexual encounters. Like, you would think that she would have stopped because she started feeling a way about herself or feeling down. But no, she become more addicted to the rush and to the pleasure that she felt. But the more she indulged, of course, she started feeling away. Like, she realized that it just wasn't about the physical pleasure. She was feeling like, hey, maybe I'm just feeling a void, And that one definitely hit home, as she couldn't really identify. One night, Lisa, she met a man who was different from all the others. You thought the other one she met on the business trip was different, but no. This guy right here, he definitely was different. He didn't want to have sex with her at all, especially right away. Instead, this man, he would listen to her and he tried to get her to understand what she was going through. He didn't judge her or try to shame her for any of her desires. Instead, he really just helped her realize that hypersexuality was more than just a symptom or, going through a phase. It was something more deeper than that. And with this, Lisa felt like she could get some help and basically become more confident. Lisa was able to confront the issues that had been plaguing her. Like, she realized that she had been using sex as a way to just escape from her problems. But instead of running away, she decided to face them head on now. It wasn't easy, but Lisa was able to really overcome her sexuality. She learned to love herself first and foremost, and she also learned to accept herself for who she was. She found happiness in the things that didn't involve sex and realized that true intimacy was about more than just physical pleasures. Now Lisa, she's out helping others who are struggling with the same things that she was struggling with in hypersexuality. She wants to turn all of her bad relationship vibes into good vibes now. And she wants to help others that are similar to her. She wants to help them to know that they're not alone and that there is help out there for a better life. And even though she still has some of these desires and fantasies, she learned to control them and not let them control her. And believe it or not, there are many others out there in the same situation as Lisa. Some speak of it and some don't. However, we gonna move past that story, but that's just Lisa's story in a nutshell. I once spoke about having certain sexual appetites back in season 1 on episode 10. However, when I'm speaking about compulsive sexual behaviors, aka hypersexuality, this disorder or sexual addiction is indeed considered to be a mental disorder. And you can definitely look this up. There are treatment centers for it, but having compulsive sexual behavior is really difficult to control and negatively affects your health, your job, your relationships, or other parts of your life. And it might even cause you some type of distress, depending on how long it goes untreated. With the compulsive sexual behavior, it might involve like a variety of commonly enjoyable experiences, like masturbation. Like females, they don't really like to say, I got a problem with masturbating. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really mention it as much, but you can definitely be hypersexual masturbator. So keep that in mind, ladies. And there's also cyber sex, fellas, okay? If you're out here looking at porn all day, and working yourselves out, choking the chicken a little bit. That's another form of compulsive sexual behavior based off of what you're engaging in on the internet. And then not to mention having multiple sexual partners or the use of pornography or paying for sex. When these sexual behaviors become a major focus in your life, they become difficult to control and it becomes disruptive or harmful to you and maybe others because of this compulsive sexual behavior. So it's always wise to get this thing under control before it's out of control. So regardless of its name or the exact nature of the behavior that stems from it, like there are, different places that you can receive treatment. And untreated compulsive sexual behavior can really damage your self-esteem as well, not to mention, your career. However, whenever you decide to get some help, if you own up to the fact that you need some help, you know what I'm saying? But not everyone wants to own that. However, I want to just go through a couple indications that might suggest you might need a little help, or you might need to seek a little therapy, or turn off that internet, or put that rose down, or that dildo, whatever you're working out, put it down for a minute, So if you have reoccurring or intense sexual fantasies, this might be an indication that you might be struggling with compulsive sexual behavior, okay? Or if you feel like you're driven to do certain sexual behaviors, or feel an increase of these little tension spells afterwards, or you might feel a little bit of guilty or remorse, for feeling that way. You might have, compulsive sexual behavior somewhere in there. Or maybe you've tried to unsuccessfully or to reduce or control your sexual fantasies or urges or behaviors. If you felt the need to reduce them at all, you might have a little bit of compulsive sexual behavior in there. You know what I'm saying? Or say if you use compulsive sexual behavior as an escape from other problems like your loneliness or depression, anxiety, or some stress, you already know you're dealing with that. So there's no need for me to mention it again. You might continue to engage in sexual behaviors that have serious consequences, such as the potential of giving or getting someone else, an infection or STD, like if you are sexual or hypersexual, I should say, overly sexual or have too many partners. Like, I can't stress that enough. And right now, Atlanta has a really high STD rate. So I need everyone to exercise caution when they're trying to pick their partners and picking someone that's suitable for them. You want to be mindful who you're picking, Also, my last pointer that you might, have some compulsive sexual disorders in there. If you have trouble establishing and maintaining healthy and stable relationships, I cannot stress that enough. Like, I see so many people jumping from relationship to relationship, or not able to stay faithful in a relationship due to the fact that their hypersexuality is all over the place. And because they're so used to having multiple partners, they don't know how to be with just one. Yeah, that type of behavior, like, that can be a problem within itself. Like, those type of partners are what you call toxic. And they typically like to connect onto these committed relationships and still continue to float in their toxic behavior because they don't know how to control that hypersexuality. Or maybe they want to control it and still involve their partner in the mix of their sexuality shindigging, their rendezvous. And with that, that's what we consider an open relationship or a swingers relationship, depending on how it's accepted by the other party. Like, he or she can accept it, or one could be on the receiving end and one not so much, and only going with the flow because they really care about this person. That's why open communication and communicating with that partner or whoever you're with and trying to seek a long-term relationship with, it's important to communicate with them so you can always stay on top of the what ifs and, just understand fully what they're basically wanting to know if you're able to provide that to them. However, most of the time, some people can't control or handle those who are hypersexual, and they can't help those out of that situation. But in Lisa's case, she had a good one. She found her one. If you find you one like that, definitely work out your kinks and figure out a way to remain hypersexual with just your one partner. I feel as though the display of hypersexualized behavior really stems from a variety of factors that include these societal influences and these personal insecurities. You know, some people like to seek validation. And because of that validation that's needed and I'm going to say women's part, they need validation sometimes, but I do say men needing validation too. Women, you might see it in the forms of them, showing off their best assets online or, just really busting it open for the camera, just showing it off, so to speak. Like, that's seeking validation. They want to get the likes. They want to get the comments. They want to get the good stuff that comes with that. Like, oh, baby, you look good. Like, they want the inbox messages. They want to feel good about themselves in a way. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, when those same women are seeking these desirable relationships, it is hard to maintain a desirable relationship and have someone actually take you serious with your ass out. So when I say societal pressure and societal norms, I mean, people might feel pressure to conform or, maintain a certain standard of attractiveness or sexuality that's perpetuated by these media platforms or the popular culture. Like, most of the people see, hey, we're going to see Meg popping ass. So what's the thing to say? You got the Meg knees. Oh, you can bust it down and shake your ass while you basically in a squat. So yeah. That's a part of the culture now that's popular right now. And that's just another way that we over-sexualize ourselves in performance. It's not to say that it's a horrible thing. It's just horrible in the way that the younger generation sees it. And they're thinking that it's more acceptable because it's done so much and it's so widely accepted now. Like, I feel like people promote body positivity and diversity. Like, it's a representation of beauty, no matter how you want to see it. Like, we have to definitely encourage self-acceptance and education on media literacy and challenges for these unrealistic standards. Like the insecurity and low self-esteem. For example, like, individuals might seek this validation and self-worth through displaying their bodies in this over-sexualized manner due to this underlying insecurity. And we see or hear women saying, hey, my body is this, or my body looks like this, or comparing their body to her body because her body is more curvy because she got the implants and she got the shots and the injections and the BBLs. She had the work done. So yeah, the natural body's got to work a lot harder to look a certain way. However, that's not to say you don't look good already. So why do you feel the need to bend it over a little bit more and arch it up just to get a couple more likes to feel better about yourself? Yes, that gives you a little bit more confidence, but you're going to need some more by tomorrow. So again, overcoming these negative influences is going to be the best bet. Like, to really encourage and build self-esteem through positive affirmations, I don't really think people take that serious, so to speak. Like, I'm scratching my neck on it, but yeah, I don't see people really waking up first thing in the morning and saying their positive affirmations and doing meditation or any type of therapy or support groups of any sort of speak, like anything. Like, that's going to be something that people turn their heads on, be like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, what? I'm not doing that. The moment you say anything self-improvement, self-growth, anything, they like, what's that? As if they're allergic to the shit. Like, please focus on your personal growth and achievements beyond physical appearance. Like, your physical appearance looks good already, but what does your mindset look like at the end of the day? Can you read past this book? Like, can you tell me and read and actually comprehend what's in the book? Like, let's go there. No, there's a certain desire for attention and approval nowadays. And some people might just engage in this hypersexual behavior just to garner this attention and approval from others, especially in the digital realm. When I say digital realm, digital meaning social media, Facebook, internet, IG, Model Mayhem, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, all of them, whatever social platform that you're on, and you can physically show any type of assets or anything of beauty, or even put a filter on to make it even more beautiful, that it already is, as if it wasn't beautiful enough to begin with. So, yeah, I definitely want us all to just overcome these challenges and really encourage more meaningful relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. Let's promote self-confidence through cultivating talents and interests. Let's move past the trauma and the abuse. Like, individuals who have experienced trauma or abuse might struggle with their self-image. And this leads to over hypersexualized behavior and coping mechanisms. And in the community, a lot of people don't really recognize that because they don't know what it looks like, on the outside looking in, unless a professional come to them and try to tell them, what they see. And I just encourage seeking this professional help of a therapist or a counselor, just to really address any past traumas and develop this healthier, lifestyle or healthier coping mechanisms. I know peer pressure is a bitch. Let's not sugarcoat anything there. Like, I know this. And being influenced by peers or any type of social groups that prioritize this hypersexuality can push anyone to conform to the standards and the societal norms. Like, this is another part of toxic conditioning. I spoke about this in my last episode. Like, at what point do we call it quits? At what point do we change and do something different? Like, can we put some clothes on and actually look like a decent human being? Like, is that possible at all? Or no, we just like to show some ass every now and then, because that's sexy. That's what's going nowadays. That's what's on the market. That's the norm. Okay, we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to push past that point. But hypersexuality is what we're talking about. Are you feeling overwhelmed by hypersexual behavior? No, let me explain. We all have our struggles, of course, but dealing with hypersexual behavior can definitely feel like a burden. But guess what? Talking to someone who understands what it means can really be a game changer. Having this safe space and this confident space where you can just share your thoughts and your frustrations without any judgment can be just a breath of fresh air. It's not just about getting help. It's about feeling heard and really understood. Counseling and therapy offers this cool, supportive environment. You get to explore what's going on beneath the surface and, of course, find a healthy way to cope. It's kind of like having a personal guide to help you really navigate through the storm, so to speak. However, I know that some people don't have the pocketbooks for therapy or counseling. So you can also do some helpful techniques at home, such as meditation, like I mentioned before. With mindfulness and meditation, you can really start your day with just exercises or some type of meditation to just ground yourself and reduce the impulsive behavior. Like this physical activity is going to be helpful with channeling your energy into more physical exercises. It's a great way to just reduce stress and improve your overall mood. And definitely create different outlets if you're able to, like creative outlets such as, drawing or writing. Like I love writing. So I'm constantly, writing down the things that I plan to do. Like in my case, like I love writing out my goals and, action, oriented task that I need to do in order to meet these goals so I can feel accomplished at the end of the day. But I also enjoy music. So if you enjoy playing music, use music to just really express your emotions, in a positive way, of course. Like whatever you're doing, you want to do something that's healthy and just get in a healthy routine and establish this daily routine that just basically includes balancing your meals, having an adequate amount of sleep, because that is important. Because like for me, I know anyone else, if you do not get enough rest, you're going to be grumpy as fuck. And I say that mildly, okay? No one wants a grouch on their hands, and you definitely want to have a more positive attitude. And the way to have that is by, basically creating this positive environment and, giving yourself time for relaxation if you need time. You want to eliminate any triggers pretty much. You want to identify and, eliminate exposure to triggers that might lead to hypersexual behavior or, certain media outlets that promotes this type of sexual activity or behavior, whatever it is. If it's the internet or social media, you might want to limit those triggers because yes, you're going to need some strength. And remember, seeking help is definitely not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. You don't have to go through it alone. Let's break the stigma and talk about it. Your journey to a healthier and more balanced life starts with a simple conversation. Take the first step and click the resourceful links below to reach out to a counselor or a lovely therapist today. We have come to a very short commercial break paid for by our lovely sponsors, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this message.
Yeah, what up, ATL? Look, you ballin', you bad and bougie with bad credit. That's most of y'all. But look, man, that's why y'all need to call my people at Exchange Credit Repair. That's right, Exchange Credit Repair will help you scrub them inquiries, get rid of them collections, and bankruptcy. They'll even take child support off. I didn't even know they put child support on credit. Woo-wee! And boost your credit score. Let's get that credit score where you want so you can go get what you want. And if you mention Street 945, you get a 35% discount. Hein? So call my people right now at 678-420-5553, 678-420-5553, or visit my people at exchangecreditrepair.info. Exchange Credit Repair is a credit counseling business with experienced credit repair experts standing by to assist you right now. When I made this deal with them, I said, look here, you ain't got to pay me for the commercial. Just put my credit score where I want so I can go get what I want. When I went to them, they treated me like family. My privacy was all the way respected. They quick to fight for a client's right with the Bureau of Credit, creditors, and debt collectors. Conveniently located at 1 West Court Square in Decatur. Tell them Shout sent you.
Overcoming hypersexuality is not about suppressing your sexuality, but rather expressing and understanding where it's healthy yet positive. If you're struggling with hypersexuality, please know that seeking help from a professional can very much provide this much needed guidance and support that you might need. Remember that there's no shame in asking for help, and that it's never too late to really start on a path of healing and recovery. In addition to seeking professional help, it might also be helpful to just engage in self-reflection and explore root causes of the hypersexuality. This could definitely involve identifying your triggers and developing coping mechanisms to manage them. It is also important to prioritize self-care and establish healthy boundaries in relationships to prevent future relapses. We don't want that. Remember, overcoming hypersexuality is a journey, and it might not happen overnight. So just be patient and compassionate with yourself and celebrate in small victories along the way. With dedication and support, it is very much possible to achieve a healthy and very fulfilling sexual lifestyle. Lastly, remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are many people who have overcome hypersexuality and many who are currently working towards it. It takes courage to acknowledge the problem and take steps towards healing. You got this. If you're not comfortable seeking help from a professional, there are resources that may be beneficial for you. There are support groups, online forums, as well as self-help books. And these can definitely provide some type of guidance and support along your way. Remember, sensual healing is not just about your physical pleasure, but also about having that emotional connection and self-discovery. Take time to explore your desires, boundaries, and needs. And don't forget to always prioritize your own well-being, not just for you, but for your partner as well. Thank you for joining us on this podcast journey. We hope that you have found this information valuable. To our fantastic listeners, your support means the world to us. Share the insights with a friend. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more exciting content. A massive thank you for being a part of No, But Seriously, Let Me Explain. I am your host, Lala Dagi, the one with all the sauce, of course. Until next week, stay bold, beautiful, and brilliant. Love ya.